The dark history of the sugar industry and science. The sweetest lie ever told: sugar is in your tea, your bread, your sauces, your snacks, and even in foods you would never expect. It hides behind fancy names, clever marketing, and healthy labels. It is in breakfast cereals marketed to children, in protein bars sold as fitness food, and in sauces labeled organic and natural. It surrounds us from the moment we wake up until we fall asleep. But what if the greatest nutritional lie in modern history was manufactured by the sugar industry itself? What if the global explosion of obesity, diabetes, and heart disease did not happen because people lost discipline, but because science itself was manipulated? What if medical research, government policy, and public health messaging were quietly rewritten to protect corporate profit instead of human health? This is not a conspiracy theory. This is documented history. A story of money, power, and scientific corruption that reshaped what the entire world eats. This is the dark history of the sugar industry and science. When sugar was rare. For thousands of years, sugar was rare. It was considered a luxury, reserved for royalty, nobility, and the wealthiest members of society. In ancient times, sweetness came naturally from fruits, dates, and honey, consumed in small, seasonal amounts. Sugar was treated as medicine, spice, or ceremonial indulgence, not daily nutrition. Most humans lived entire lifetimes without ever tasting refined sugar. Their diets were built on whole foods, natural fats, fiber-rich plants, and simple cooking methods. Their bodies were shaped by scarcity, not abundance. Food was precious. Nothing was wasted. Every calorie had value. But everything changed with industrialization. Machines replaced farms. Refineries replaced kitchens. Sugar production became cheap, fast, and massively scalable. What once took months of labor could now be produced in factories within days. Sugar shifted from rarity to everyday necessity. By the early 1900s, sugar consumption exploded across Europe and North America. Slowly, quietly, and dangerously, sugar became a permanent part of the human diet. Not because we needed it, but because we were engineered to crave it. The first warning signs. By the 1950s, doctors began noticing alarming patterns. Heart disease was becoming the leading cause of death. Obesity rates were rising. Diabetes, once extremely rare, was spreading rapidly. Hospitals filled with patients suffering from metabolic disorders never seen before at such scale. Scientists searched desperately for answers. Two major suspects emerged: fat and sugar. Both were increasing rapidly in modern diets. Early research began linking high sugar intake to heart disease, insulin resistance, and metabolic dysfunction. Some scientists warned that sugar, not fat, might be the primary driver of the crisis. These findings terrified the sugar industry. If sugar became publicly known as dangerous, entire markets could collapse. Trillions of dollars were at stake. Food corporations, agricultural giants, and global trade networks depended on sugar consumption. So the industry made a calculated decision, one that would reshape human health for generations. They would not fight the science. They would own it. When science was bought in the 1960s, the sugar industry secretly funded prestigious scientists at elite institutions, including Harvard University. Their mission was simple, but devastating. Shift blame away from sugar and place it squarely on fat. Researchers were selectively paid to review existing studies. Data showing sugar's dangers was quietly ignored. Evidence linking fat to heart disease was amplified. Scientific papers were carefully worded to minimize sugar's role. These conclusions were published in top medical journals and rapidly became accepted truth. Because these claims came from respected scientists, the world believed them. Doctors changed their advice. Governments rewrote dietary guidelines. Schools redesigned lunch programs. Hospitals changed patient diets. Entire populations were told that fat was deadly and sugar was safe. This manipulation did not just influence nutrition. It reshaped civilization's understanding of food. The low-fat lie era. The 1970s and 1980s became the age of low-fat obsession. Every product screamed low-fat, fat-free, and heart-healthy. Supermarkets overflowed with processed foods promising health and longevity. But fat carries flavor. When manufacturers removed it, food tasted bland and unpleasant. So they replaced fat with sugar, massive amounts of it. Yogurts became liquid desserts. Cereals became candy bowls. Sauces turned into syrup. Bread became sweet sponge. People believed they were eating healthier than ever. But obesity exploded. Diabetes surged. Heart disease worsened. Metabolic disorders skyrocketed. Humanity became sicker, not because it ignored health advice, but because it followed it. How sugar hijacks your brain. Sugar does more than taste good. It hijacks the brain. Every bite triggers dopamine, the same pleasure chemical released by addictive drugs. Over time, the brain builds tolerance, demanding larger amounts for the same reward. Cravings intensify. Self-control weakens. Emotional dependency forms. This isn't weakness. This is neurochemical engineering. Food scientists carefully design sugar combinations to hit pleasure centers with surgical precision. Texture, crunch, melting speed, and flavor, release timing are manipulated to maximize addiction. Every processed snack is engineered to override biological stop signals. Children are exposed to this programming before they can even speak. By adulthood, their brains are already wired for dependency. This is not accidental. This is strategic. Blame, diet culture, and distraction. As obesity and disease spread, the industry shifted blame. Instead of acknowledging sugar's role, corporations blamed individuals. People were labeled lazy, irresponsible, and weak-willed. Diet culture exploded. Calorie counting, low-fat products, artificial sweeteners, detox cleanses, fitness fads, meal replacements. Yet none addressed the root cause. People were trapped in endless cycles of dieting, failure, guilt, and relapse, while sugar remained hidden in nearly every product they consumed. Shame replaced understanding. Guilt replaced truth. And the epidemic continued. The science that was silenced. Independent scientists who tried to expose sugar faced career destruction. Their research funding disappeared. Their findings were ignored. Their reputations were quietly damaged. Scientific research requires money, and the largest financial backers were food corporations. This created a deadly conflict of interest. Science became selectively blind. Truth became financially inconvenient. Research conclusions bent to satisfy corporate sponsors. The very system meant to protect public health became vulnerable to manipulation. The dark history of sugar is not just about the past. It is about the decisions we make every day. Every meal is a vote for health or disease, a vote for clarity or addiction, a vote for life or slow deterioration. If this opened your eyes, like and subscribe, also share it. Talk about it. Teach others. Because truth buried in silence continues its damage. But truth spoken spreads freedom. And in a world addicted to sweetness, awareness may be the strongest medicine we have left.